And away, Vicky's here with the first-hand look at one school's decision to ban cell phones in the classroom. Hey, Vic.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this is becoming part of a growing global trend as well. See what happens when we go to a campus where the kids have to have their phones off and away for 7 hours, what it's done for grades and mental health. That's next, right here on Today.
We are back 8:11. We're taking a look at an issue that we spend a lot of time discussing here on the show, but at home too, kids and cell phones.
With the new school year underway, more states are actually banning those digital devices from the classroom. NBC's Vicky Nguyen visited a school where new rules just took effect, and they already are seeing the effect, right?
Yeah, they really are. I can't stop talking about this. I know you ladies can't either with a town hall. It's an important mental health crisis happening in our world right now. So at John Handley High School in Virginia, students, they've been back in class under this new normal. Their phones are now off and away for the 7 hours they're in school. Take a look.
I joined the students at John Handley High School in Winchester, Virginia, who now have to place their phones in pouches or keep them off and in their backpacks during the day, including between classes and at lunch.
Raise your hand if you think this is a good idea to ban phones in schools.
It's unanimous between seniors Kimberly and Logan and sophomores Elizabeth and Lila, no fans of the ban. But they admit having a phone takes away their attention.
What are some of the distractions you've noticed in your own classes?
I'd say biggest distraction would probably be Instagram Reels, probably TikTok. They'll probably just keep it up on their computer and watch it as their work is just sitting there.
Why do you need a cell phone with you in school?
I find it's part of how this generation has learned to communicate, and in this generation it has become a thing that our cell phones help us connect.
What about connecting by just passing notes or talking to each other in person?
That's not as cool. Yeah.
Not cool, but the ban could improve their mental health. The Surgeon General wants Congress to approve a warning label on what these phones are most often used for, social media, and what he considers the risk of significant mental health harms from these platforms.
Have any of you had a negative experience with your phones due to bullying or what you've seen on social media? Raise your hands.
You're seeing these people, these models, and they create like a sort of ideology of what you have to become.
I'll see things like sports-wise for me, really. Someone will show like physiques, where they are for their sports, and it just makes my goals seem harder to reach for me.
A study by Common Sense Media found students receive more than 200 notifications a day, and 97% of them use their phones during school hours. Distractions like this leading a growing number of states to review and restrict cell phone use.
I really believe we're dealing with the future of our society.
Superintendent Jason Van Hukelum is also a dad to a 16-year-old at Handley.
What do you say to parents who are worried they can't reach their child in case of an emergency?
Students can literally see their phone, and within 1 minute, they could all access their phones and be able to text mom or dad or anyone else they need to if they needed to.
What do you think the biggest harms of having phones in school really come down to?
I think distraction from a learning point of view, bullying is something we deal with every single day. They do that virtually now. They do that over text. They make each other feel bad. Having at least one space during the 24 hours in a day where they cannot use social media is only going to help their mental health.
If students are caught with a phone, it's taken away and only a parent can get it back.
Is it true that sometimes when you call the parent, they actually say, hang on to it for a couple more days?
That is true. Sometimes the parents will then use us as that vehicle to have another lesson at home and have a conversation.
More than 70% of high school teachers call cell phone use a major problem, and a recent survey found 9 in 10 teachers want cell phones banned during instructional time.
The cell phone distracts from learning and from the whole class. It distracts from us being effective teachers.
She sees a difference. During Handley's 2-month pilot program last year, the school saw grades go up in all 18 classes where they kept phones off and away.
Now, without having my phone, I'm able to maybe concentrate more on my classes, and I have been able to raise my grades.
While some schools are investing millions in lockable pouches to contain the phones, many have found success with simple envelopes, like this school in Ohio we first showed you. As more schools recognize removing these devices will give these kids what they need most.
I heard this quote that said, the moment you want your kid's childhood to end, give them a phone. What do you think of that?
I agree with that.
Listen, they all agree. Our thanks to the students at Handley High for being so candid in that conversation. By the way, we asked the superintendent, why not let the kids have their phones in between classes or in the cafeteria? He said kids were being late to class because they were checking their social media. And also you'd walk into the cafeteria, 300 kids, quiet and just on their phones, not interacting. That's not what lunchtime should be about.
If you have your phone at lunch, it's like the exception that kind of swallows the whole idea of like spend a day in
the purpose.
IRL.
One of the guys we like, Jonathan Haidt, who wrote the book, The Anxious Generation, was talking about how he was seeing school districts all over are now banning.
Yes.
And he was also saying it's happening a lot overseas.
Yes, you remember Norway started, right? They banned phones from schools. And then there was this big study, we talked about it earlier this year, looking at middle schoolers. Rates of bullying went down 40%, 46% for girls. And same with mental health needs. And now look at this map here. You've got China, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, France as well, all following suit as a country. The key, though, is enforcement. You see such a variation in how they're rolling it out, but it certainly is a step in the right direction. I think you've got to explain the why and get investment from the school, from the kids, from the parents as to how this is going to help the children.
The momentum is all on the side
happening.
of
You can feel it.
delaying giving us smartphones, banning
16.
social media till at least 16, if not longer. And it's a very one-sided argument. The research is all there. We have everything we need to know. Now it's just like getting the will to do it. And it's hard because when your kids are yelling at you.
It's like you said, if you left it up to kids and they said, well, but I need this and I want it and I want pancakes 3 times a day, we wouldn't listen to them about that. But somehow we've gotten sucked into, okay, I guess they need these things.
Right.
And as we're seeing in these schools across the world now, they don't.
Well, and Jonathan Haidt just said, as long as you have a couple of parents who are on your team, you don't have to have this whole school doing it. But if you and your group say, we don't have phones in our group, then at least your kid's not by themselves.
You have to stick to it.
Yeah. All right.
We could go on and on. And we have.
And we will again.
And we will again. Vicky, thank you. Let's go to Dylan, get a check of the weather. You're not at that age yet necessarily where your kids are asking for a phone.
Luckily, I think, some friends are, but, luckily I don't have to deal with that just yet. We do have some severe storms.